fireball burns up the oxygen that's in the air there, and there's no oxygen left to combust the fire to fuel the flare.
Yeah, and the spark and all the gasoline and the thing, and they were filled with gasoline, and that's why we saw that big explosion outside. But what would make a large portion of the gasoline not explode with the huge fire that engulfed the whole area and go all the way
so
down?
much in a given amount of time.
I find that
the air's all used up with the initial fire. Gallons, thousands of gallons of jet fuel left over. That's got to go somewhere. It goes down.
I honestly find that very unlikely. Very unlikely, only because one, I'm totally not 100% sure what shaft going down, and when it explodes, all of it will explode, not go down. And then if, say, a large number of, the kerosene goes all the way down, what would spark it to explode at one specific level? And the other people who said that
there was lifts falling, elevators falling because the cables were snapped by the plane.
One reason I believe Willie is because there's other people.
But which version of Willie's story do you believe?
The one that's collaborated with all the other people I met and talked to. Now, as far as why I personally believe Willie, because there's other people in the other building who were going through explosions even before the other plane hit the building. And I know Craig Barton, our police officer, seeing explosions in the lobby, seeing explosions on the 10th floor and 20th floor. And based on those questions, I think that they should have been at least covered and addressed, even if they weren't true and if they weren't explosions. It should have been said, okay, many people think they heard this. 200 firefighters out of these many firefighters heard this. This is why it's wrong.
But none of the collapses happened from where those explosions were. The collapses happened from where the planes hit, though, didn't they? There wasn't any collapse that started in the basement or on the 10th floor or the 70th floor.
Of smoke on the bottom floors, and
well, that's because of the jet fuel that went down the elevator.
Of course, I personally, my own opinion. Maybe you're right, maybe I'm wrong, but I would disagree with that.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, it's very hard to tell, but I just find it weird that it wasn't addressed, and such a critical thing like that of what they went through should have been addressed. It should have been, because it pretty much goes contrary to the official story. And if there was more detail, paid attention to the things that dispute what they were saying, I think it would have been a lot easier on all the families and all the rescuers and all the survivors. But they didn't.
Well, they've all got questions that need to be answered.
Of course, and I think they have a right to ask questions.
Do you have any opinion on what happened at the Pentagon?
The Pentagon is weird. I mean, I can't say what happened because we don't know what happened. That's the
neither of us were there.
Exactly. Some people say they saw a plane, some people say they didn't see a plane. The one thing about the Pentagon, I don't know what happened there, but one thing I would want is the surveillance footage to be released. Because you have to say yourself, there's not one clear video of a plane hitting the Pentagon. You have to see, honestly.
From what I understand, though, the Pentagon relies mostly on live surveillance. They're not recording tapes of.
Well, the FBI said that they had over 79 video cameras, 79 video footage.
That's right, and not many of them show anything useful because they were all pointed either at their own security concerns, like the petrol station, the Sitco petrol station was, had the security cameras pointed where you would expect the security camera to be pointed.
I've been to DC. That is the most surveillance area in the world. They have cameras everywhere. And for them to confiscate footage as well, kind of is like, why would you confiscate video footage from the Pentagon?
Well, they collected it to use as evidence, and it's not theirs to release to the public because it belongs to those organisations that own the buildings. It doesn't belong to the FBI.
But why take it away? It does belong to the FBI because they took it away from them.
Yeah, but
and they made it a big thing. And to me, if you end all the questions, end all the theories, just release the videos. And if there's nothing showing in those videos, just saying that there's nothing showing, and show us.
I think they have said that.
But they haven't shown the videos, and to me, to shut up all these people, just show the video. That's what you have to do.
They've shown videos of the World Trade Centers as well. That doesn't show them.
Of course. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, there are still people out there that question what happened there.
That's because the FBI didn't confiscate them and take it away, and that's why there's questions.
Well, and because there's like news crews all over the place.
In DC, it's totally different, and they control the footage, and they control information which I think is pivotal for the American people to see and understand, even if, you may not see it that way, but I see it that way. Like, I met Patrick Walsh, Debbie Walsh's husband. Debbie Walsh was the lead flight attendant on Flight 93. He doesn't know what happened to his wife. He doesn't know if his plane was shot down or if the story that they portray in the movies is really true. They don't know anything like that. And he has his questions, and I think he deserves to have his questions answered.
Yeah. One thing that actually always confuses me about the Pentagon situation is what actually happened to the people that were meant to be on that plane.
I don't know. I feel very sorry for those families and I find sometimes some people are very insensitive to them, and that's not always the right thing to do.
Because if it wasn't a plane, something must have happened to those people.
I never said it wasn't a plane.
I see.
I never said that. I'm clearly saying
there's
we
questions
don't know.
behind it, yeah.
Yeah, we don't know, and the way to just make people know is by releasing video footage. I can't say that there wasn't a plane. I'm not able to say that. That would have been a theory.
Well, I mean,
I don't believe in theories.
I mean, given that they found all the plane wreckage there and the DNA of all the people in the wreckage of the Pentagon and the flight recorders in the Pentagon, I don't understand how anybody can say you don't know there was a plane. See, that's what I don't understand personally.
Yeah. Now, what we have is like evidence on both sides.
Well, we've got evidence on one side and we've got speculation on the other.
It's not always just speculation, because you can see different things with different evidence as well, with what happened with everything else, and different people seeing different things and saying different things. So there's always two sides to a story,
but
right?
the physical evidence all points in one direction. Eyewitness testimony is always a little bit suspect. No two people will agree on exactly the same thing. And when the physical evidence disagrees with the eyewitness testimony, you've got to discount the eyewitness generally. That's how investigations work a lot of it.
Eyewitnesses sometimes are right, sometimes they're wrong. You're definitely right about that.
And you go
But
with
there's
the
a lot of
physical
things that should be questioned when something's controlled and told to us. You know, just because someone tells us to it doesn't mean it's always true. But that's why I support asking questions. I can't say 9/11 was an inside job. I can't say the U.S. government, Bush Cheney did. I can't say that at all, because there's so many questions and there's so much information that we're being denied of that I think we should, as Americans, as people of the world, should really understand, because this has affected me, you, our children's lives, and it's going to affect us for the next 100 years. I mean, innocent men and women and children, sadly, are getting caught up and dying in Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Iraq right now. Their lives are being changed because of one event. And why not release all the information about that event? I don't see anything wrong with that. That's my own personal opinion. If you disagree with me and you say no, it wasn't. You shouldn't ask questions.
I agree that Bush used 9/11 as a pretext to go to war.
Of course.
And I don't agree with doing that at all. And 9/11 had nothing to do with Iraq, and I don't know why he conflated the two to try and.
But then Afghanistan is also
whip his
another
country
issue.
up into it.
Well, Afghanistan was harbouring the Taliban.
The
Taliban.
The Taliban were harbouring Al-Qaeda.
So that war was...
There was also contradicting evidence with the BBC. There was an article by the BBC called The Airlift of Evil, documenting how C-140 airplanes went into Afghanistan before the major invasion by the U.S. military and flown high-level Taliban leaders out of Afghanistan into Pakistan. Now, that could be true or not true, but that was an official report by the BBC. To me, the conflict of interest with the people in power, the military-industrial complex, the rich corporations, the people who Halliburton, Blackwood, who are making money off. To me, it seems like something in their interest to continue, to not capture him, because if they capture him, their interest and their money is going to go away. And to me, their ties, especially the Bushes and the Saudi Arabian ties, should be investigated, should be looked into. The Carlyle group, the Bin Laden, Bin Bafuz, Bin Laden's family member doing business with our Busto oil in the 70s with the Bushes. That should be investigated and looked into. And we turn a blind eye to that when we shouldn't. Because that dictates our foreign policy and domestic policy.
All right, thanks, Luke. Thanks for your time.